What's up, nerds? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you some thoughts on a game that really did change my life. It's a game called Firewatch, and I'll be honest with you, it really caught me off guard. I just finished this game just a few days ago and wanted to share some of my thoughts on this game. It really, I wasn't expecting just the feelings that this game just elicited in me as a player. If I'm being honest with you, this genre of more story narrative games isn't something I normally play, but there's a number of reasons why I got it and why I started it. I'm really thankful that I did. So I want to share with you all kind of my thoughts coming right off the heels of playing, honestly, one of the best games I think I've played this year so far. So welcome back to the channel, nerds. Hope you're having a great day. Let's dive into it. As I mentioned before, the story narrative games aren't something I normally play and certainly don't spend a lot of time creating content for, especially on this YouTube channel. But I felt like after I completed Firewatch, it definitely warranted me to carve out some time, even if it's just a love letter for the devs. I think the story was incredible. It's definitely a shorter game, which isn't at all any negative marks against the game, but it's just not my typical cup of tea. And honestly, the only reason why I even bought the game was because there was a summer sale going on at the time, and I got it for fairly dirt cheap for the quality of the game that it actually is. I think the game, honestly, it caught me in a season of life where, if I'm being honest with you, I'm a new father. You know, that's a huge deal, right? It puts you into a certain season of just natural emotional reflection. But when I experienced this game, frankly, the only time I even have to play video games anymore is between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m., which I usually get up at 5, make a light breakfast, start getting dressed to go to the gym before I have to go to work. And my family is usually sleeping still at that time, so I have about 40 minutes to myself every morning with a cup of coffee, and I've been playing some of my backlog games. And I decided to devote about a week or so to playing Firewatch between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. And it was an interesting experience. Just to set the scene for you, for all of you visual learners out there, I have a really nice fireplace, and so I would lay by the fireplace. It would be pitch black still outside, and I would play this game on my Steam Deck, which, again, being in a season of being a new father, I don't have time always to be on this beautiful setup behind me because my kid needs my attention and he deserves my attention. But being portable just makes gaming feel more accessible in my season of life. So I got to experience Firewatch, which, if you're not aware of what the game's about, I don't want to spoil anything in case this video prompts you to go play it for yourself, which you should. You should go play this for yourself. But essentially, you are a Firewatch. You spend a summer of your life as the main character in this wilderness, and you live within a fire tower where you watch out for fires. It's a very interesting game in itself. I learned a lot just about the day in of what it's like to live in that ranger-esque type of job. As the game mechanic progresses, you'll have different survival tools you can use. You obviously unlock different tools to explore different parts of the wild. The game relies so much on navigation, knowing how to use your map and updating your map and finding different drop deposit areas to get more resources. But all those features really feed into the main narrative, which, again, I don't want to spoil it for anyone that should, decide to buy this game. But I think it's just the emotion of the game. So I'll set the premise up for you because you'll experience that even just on the Steam page as you're reading it. You're a main character whose wife, is going through some health stuff. And as a result, the wife actually ends up moving to live with her family while you are unable to take care of her. So you end up taking this job, moving to the wilderness, and embracing this season of deep reflection, which is really where I, as a player, was most deeply impacted. Because, again, I'm in my own season of reflection, and from what I can see on the Steam page, there's a lot of users who play this game and also have just different things that they take away from that just deeply impact them. Some of it being mental health, some of it well-being, some of it dealing with trauma. Again, all that is embedded in the story in a way that forces you as a player to respond to it, which, again, is part of the mechanics of the game. You as a player actually have the ability to respond in a role-playing capacity. Granted, the story has been largely carved out. You can't change the character that you play as, but you can dictate the responses, which definitely gave me a new level of immersion. Like I said, I don't normally play role-playing games that dictate who I am playing as, or certainly not in a narrative capacity. But this one, it really did catch me off guard. I found myself being immersed in the main character's story, feeling for him, feeling empathy for him, and that was a really cool experience. And so again, I think everyone that plays a game will echo this sentiment that we all are humans, we all go through really hard things in the real world, and so we often use video games as an escape. And I certainly have done that in many seasons of life, but to have to deal with trauma and difficulty, mourning even, through a character in a video game, it honestly calls you as the player to lean into that kind of process, which I think is very beautiful. And I think it's very vulnerable. And I think if you're gonna play this game, my personal recommendation is to play it alone. Granted, not everyone can afford to do that, but playing this game in front of my family, I wouldn't be able to give it the focus or even the emotional attention that it needs. And because I was able to play it completely by myself and honestly in a very portable format on my Steam Deck and in an environment where it was by a fireplace, which is kind of a slight nod to the game itself, I got to experience the emotional impact dialed up to 11, and I'm very, very thankful for this game. Now, the resolution of this game is a bit different. I think those that crave the stereotypical resolution in a story, you might be disappointed. And I'm not gonna give the story away, but I think the ending actually prompts you as the player in the real world to actually do a level of personal reflection that other games either handhold you through or just completely don't allow you as a player to be as deeply impacted. If I can be honest, the amount of games have actually impacted me as a player, and not just like I've enjoyed the game, but actually impacted me, just on top of my head, I would say Final Fantasy X, that was an impactful game in my youth. The conclusion was extremely emotional. Other games I can just quickly think of, I think the conclusion of Majora's Mask, if I'm being honest, it had a certain sense of emotional dissonance where the moon was prevented from falling, and therefore the character didn't get fully celebrated, but you watch the town celebrate. It was not the hero resolution that you're looking for. And same thing with this game. You're the main character, and so you're going through these emotional trials and responses in the game, and to get the ultimate resolution, I would say it's not the stereotypical conclusion that you find in a lot of movies or books or certainly not video games. But I think that is the beauty in this, is it calls you as a player to do a level of self-reflection that just typically doesn't happen in a lot of narrative games. Now, I will say that I really recommend, if you have a Steam Deck or even a ROG Ally, for instance, I do think that there was something just slightly more magical about playing it in a portable format. Something about being in the wilderness in this game. It might not be as impactful if I'm glued to my desk, which feels very modern, feels very high technology. But something about being in the portable form factor just drove I think the experience to be just a bit more intimate. So if you have the ability to play it in a more portable format, highly recommend it. It runs great on the Steam Deck, just for reference. Only had one bug, which was actually something that was reported by even PC players. So, and it was resolved super easily. Just save and reload the game, and it was completely resolved. The graphics are fun. It has that cel-shaded experience, and honestly, it's not about the graphics. In fact, there's not even combat in this game, which should tell you, if you're familiar with this channel, the games that I do cover, that's really juxtaposed from my backlog or even the games that I typically play. But yet it was so fun. It's so simple, and it really does rely on this day-to-day experience of being in the wilderness, dealing with things that are hard, dealing with the hard things that we often put away in the shadows of our mind. And I think as I'm going through the game, during my actual waking hours in my real life, when I'm not playing the game, I think it just set me up into be in an emotional mindset where I was able to reflect on things that maybe I wasn't willing to accept to the degree that I need to as a human to fully be free. And if you read the comments on Steam, you'll see that the game, while in itself may not be therapeutic or healing or dealing with the closure that you might need, it prompts you as a user, as a player, to maybe lean into those processes. And again, I know this video is probably getting super philosophical, super therapy talk, but I really cannot recommend this game more. Granted, I'm super late to playing Firewatch. It's been around for a while from what I know, but it went on sale. I had to grab it. So glad I grabbed it. And I just wanted to share with all of you this plea, this invitation to go and experience it yourself. I don't want to spoil it, but I just would really implore all of you to go and experience the game for yourself. And I really appreciate all of you who's been supporting me on this channel. I'm going to be doing some more videos kind of like this where I do a little bit more of just a narrative discussion about different games that are really important to me. So stay tuned for those. And yeah, I appreciate all the comments per usual. Really love the support that this channel's kind of been getting lately. So thank you so much to all of you who continue to watch these videos. So yeah, go check out Firewatch on Steam. It's definitely worth it even at full price. It's a game that honestly you should probably play once a year. I certainly am going to be doing that. It's got great replay value because you can choose different responses to some of the things. And there's a cool open world mode where you can, once you beat the game, you can just do a free roam, explore the whole map without it being tied behind different story walls, which is really, really cool. So anyway, thanks guys for watching. Really appreciate it. Hope you have a great day. And until next time, bye-bye.